Around a few years ago at this point, once upon a time, there was a streaming team called Blacksite that was fronted by guys like Clean and included dudes like Batty, Donut Operator, Blue Drake, Kings, Tweak, and some others that ended up working pretty closely with the developers of Ready or Not at Void Interactive. Back then, there was this pre-release alpha day where they showcased different game modes, showed a bunch of weapons and attachments, and got us all to buy into the idea that Ready or Not was going to both be ready and hot. I was one of those early backers that bought into the hype, and I spent some $150 on a backer package that included closed alpha access and was heavily buried under a mountain of NDA stuff, and I got a cool big-ass mouse pad that I gave to my then 14-ish-year-old son to help with his gaming PC. Then, the day one alpha arrived, and it was dog shit. I mean awful. I didn't even think about logging back into that game for literally years. It was so bad and relatively unplayable. Then we fast forward a bit, and the timeline for Ready or Not has been and continues to be significantly delayed. Still very much in alpha closed access, and losing key developers left and right. Ready or Not was ripe for the chopping block, honestly. It was seemingly destined to be pushed off into obscurity as another backer game that never got finished and just died on the vine. But then, lo and behold, we have an announcement from Void. A Christmas miracle, if you will. They struck a deal with Studio 17, the publishers of Hell Let Loose, which has and had been regarded very positively by most people who have played it. And with this breath of fresh air came a new revelation. The NDA associated with this closed alpha for Ready or Not was being lifted, and we, the content creator backers of the game, could broadcast it and make videos about it. Holy shit. So now as I sit here before you in my snapback, nursing some green tea and getting some caffeine from this here shaker cup, I can talk to you guys about the alpha and tell you what I think about Ready or Not now that I've been able to play it. So this is a review of where we're at with Ready or Not as an alpha. And I can tell you guys right now, I'm going to be streaming this tomorrow. The idea tomorrow is that I'm going to be playing with DDG, DevilDogGamer, OperatorDrewski, and possibly, likely, Clean, if we can get him on in the morning. So, yeah, come hang out in the stream. It'll be, as of this recording, the 3rd of December, 2021. So we'll see you in the morning, maybe. But here's the review. Ready or Not is a SWAT game. It's basically a spiritual successor to the SWAT series of games, which, full disclosure, I never played. Luckily, when I played this evening, I had OperatorDrewski, who has a relatively small YouTube channel and has seen some market success, and TheDevilDogGamer, who also runs a relatively small channel, but he seems to be growing at a pretty steady rate as time goes on. They both show some real promise, so hey, maybe consider giving them a sub. Props to DDG, by the way, for securing the Facebook gaming bag. Happy for you, brother. It's important to note that Ready or Not is still very, very much in the alpha stages, and that the alpha is closed, and that the alpha can only be accessed by people who have backed the game, or if new would-be gamers to this wanted to play it, you have to be willing to back the production of the game with a rather hefty $120 price tag courtesy of the Void Interactive website. At some point, my guess is that the game will probably go into early access, which would come at a lower price point than what's currently being offered to the public, but that really isn't the point of the video. I'm here to talk to you about how playable it is. Okay, so graphically, Ready or Not offers NVIDIA DLSS and RTX support out of the gate already. And I'll tell you, this game is visually stunning. It's stunning. During one of the night scenarios, it was pouring rain outside of this shipping dock, and you can see how well all of this rendered. Drewski, DDG, and I were all very much awestruck at how remarkably good the game looked and still gave us absurd frame rates. I think Drewski was saying he was getting something like 220 frames, and I personally play on a rig with an i9-9900K and a 2080 Ti, and I was getting about 100 FPS at 1440p with RTX enabled and everything on max. On DX12, not DX11. Right now, Ready or Not is a scenario-based player versus AI experience. There is some PvP in an arena mode, but I haven't really played that, and that's not really the point of the game. But however, the traps inside of the versus AI experience, the traps, enemy positions, door types, and obstacles that you end up encountering are procedurally based, so no two playthroughs of the maps are the same. When you use C2 on a door and blow a door open in order to be able to access it, it alerts the AI. Dust flies in the air, which obscures your ability to be able to use your flashlight. In one particular moment, we used C2 on a door, and the door blew back and ended up killing one of the bad guys. It was awesome. So you have a SWAT team of up to 4 players, or if you want to play solo, you end up with an AI team with 3 members of AI, and you can hold down the T key in order to be able to see the perspectives of the other AI players. But you end up selecting your loadout out of a locker. You can walk over to a workbench and select from a few different handfuls of attachments, which supposedly they're going to be expanding on. There's a shooting range. There's a practice environment where you can walk through this training scenario and shoot dummies or not in the case of the civilian ones. But much like the environments, these gun animations and how they look, especially the reload animations and the hand animations and renderings, all look and feel fantastic. Like, the recoil for these guns is uncontrollable or hard to control in a good way. And there are also some bugs. I'm not going to say there's not. There's some collision bugs when you throw things like flashbangs. When they hit doorways, sometimes they don't end up in the same place depending on which client is watching. And certain piles of debris or how NPCs react to certain situations do feel a bit weird. And there's some sound bugs, like when you go to breach a door with the battering ram and it's just quiet, like silent, stealth battering ram. But it's an alpha test, you know? Granted, it's been alpha for a long time. But we've all seen games that get released ahead of schedule and end up an overwhelmingly buggy mess that still feel like alpha and beta tested games, right? New World. Sorry, I had something in my throat there. My bad. And of course, the game is not without its share of memes.
I'm gonna peek this door on the left.
Oh, are you? Because we're on the other side of it.
Hey guys.
Pull it up.
Kick it open for
Hold
me.
on. I got this. Don't worry.
The door piece on there.
Yep. We do a door wedged it. We're good.
Oh my god. I hate you. Walk around. Oh, is it dead?
Yeah, that was the.
Yeah, it's just a big circle. Yeah.
All right.
It's just a
you guys
bathroom.
Come through. I'll put a door wedge in this doorway.
Hold on. No. Stay back. Come back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit! Oh my god! You just killed a man. Hold on. I'm securing the evidence.
How did that not kill you when we were in?
Holy
the lobby,
shit!
But it kills you now? Entry team. Copy. All right. Where's over here too?
Sir.
I got you guys. I think this one leads. Oh, this is adjoining room, so this should be the bathroom for the other one.
Okay. Yep. Civilian in there.
Hit her with the beam.
Checking left.
Make her fly.
Ma'am.
Oh gosh, I'm clicking the wrong button.
Ma'am, don't move. I said don't move.
Hands up.
All right.
Hands up
moving in.
now. I'm over here.
Oh shit!
I gotta get back.
Holy
I gotta get back.
Christ!
I'm hurt very bad.
Holy
Oh
shit,
my
Drew!
gosh, type right.
Oh! Gun!
Yeah, I didn't see the gun till he was right up on me.
Hold on. Evidence first.
Oh my god.
Dead
he was
guy
running
second.
Right at me.
Wow, you just pulled it. They're coming right for us. Of course, the question is whether or not a game with a couple of handfuls of different levels, difficulties, and scenarios is worth $120 to you or not. To play it right now, anyway. But for me, it was about the backing of the devs in a project that I felt like would be a good conceptual game, and I was excited to then, and still am excited now, to see what comes of it. Now, I'm not going to go and say that this game is perfect. It is far from it, and it has been delayed a lot. Bad. And for a time, and still at some level right now, I still feel like I was taken a little bit for the money that I spent in accessing this alpha. Because back then, this was one of those things where they were supposed to be delivering on a timeline that was going to be much, much more accelerated than what it is right now. We're talking like certain key functions of the game were supposed to be available to us by like Q3 2019. And now here we are in Q4 2021, staring down the barrel of Q1 2022. And while the game is very, very much playable as an alpha and very fun, it's far from what it was that we were expected to have been delivered by now. I mean, we were expecting like a 1.0 release at this point, right? Of course, COVID getting in the way. I'm not trying to knock that, but games get delayed all the time. And sometimes it's hard to be patient, especially when you're sacrificing a chunk of change like $120. But it's still playable, and it's still fun. And I'm loving this. And as a playable alpha, this is one of the most playable alphas I have ever experienced. As an alpha gameplay experience, it's freaking awesome. Breaching doors without knowing who's tucked in a corner of a next room, waiting to take your head off is terrifying. There are doors where sometimes you have the ability to put a mirror underneath and scan the room. Some of those doors, some of the bigger metal ones, are flush to the ground, and you don't have the gap to be able to do it. You have to go in blind. It plays like a horror game, granted, a horror game that you have the ability to fire back in, but the scenarios are gritty, and they're dark, man. I don't mean like visually dim. There are some dark spots, and there's nods and stuff, but I mean emotionally dark. The scenario that I finished with Drewski at the end of the stream day today, where DDG unfortunately died partway through, involved finding evidence of tampered shipping manifests, locating the head bad guys on this shipping dock, and then exposing what appears to be a human trafficking ring, complete with a stage for people to be auctioned off to the highest bidder, and humans being held in cages, dirty, beaten, cowering for their life, being fed bags of dog food. Like, dude, that's some heavy shit. You know, when it's rendered as beautifully as this game is, that's some heavy shit. I think how the story of these scenarios unfolding is what ultimately ended up drawing me in the most. Like, the memes are fun, and the jump scares are cool, and having to, like, outsmart the AI was interesting. But as you work your way through each scenario, the puzzle pieces of what's going on inside of a certain area starts to put itself together. And the amount of immersion associated with drawing you in like this makes the jump scares and sudden bursts of fire from the enemies all that much more worth it and enjoyable when you're playing through it all. It really does draw you in, all in all. As an alpha, a lot of fun. Now, $120, a lot of fun? I don't know. Maybe this is something that you guys don't want to spend $120 on, and maybe it's something that you would much rather watch during a live stream for a content creator that decided to go in on it. Or, in the lucky case, which I was not one, ended up being included in the, I guess, content creator harem that the devs had acquired over the years. In my case, it was just one of those situations where I felt that buying it, granted I wasn't very much of a content creator back then, and, you know, I'm not much more of one now, some would say. I was one of those people that thought buying into it would have been cool. And what I'm glad for, if I'm being honest, is that it doesn't feel as though my money was really put to waste. It was delayed, and delayed gratification sometimes sucks when you're waiting years on something that should have been delivered forever ago. But at least now, there's this shining beacon of hope. Because Studio 17, with Hell Let Loose, has done a pretty damn good job. And with Studio 17 working with Void now, it seems like it's breathed a whole lot more positivity, not only in the studio, but also in the player base for this game. And I'm going to be honest, man, I'm having a lot of fun with it. So if you guys want to come and check it out for yourselves while we're live and see if it's something that you would potentially enjoy going in on, by all means, make your own decision. I'm not being paid by the devs or anything. I'm just telling you that I'm having a real good time with it. So, yeah, that's what I've got, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will cover this some more as time goes on for sure, because this is something that I've been invested in for a long time now. And, yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Peace.